Good morning, guys. So today is Monday. I'm getting ready for work. And I wanted to make a video about how I failed nursing school twice. So I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but it's something that's kind of hard to talk about. I kind of don't really talk about it, except to maybe my close friends or people who know, but that's what today's video is going to be about. Hey guys, so to start on this video, I just wanted to talk about how I originally failed nursing school. So right now I am in nursing school. I am in my second semester in my first year, and I am actually going to the same college that I failed from. So the first time I got into this program, it was back in 2015, and the classes were different than what they are now. Your first year you took basic nursing. I remember math for pharmacology, and I think that was it. But it was actually very simple. First year basic nursing, basically you're learning like your head to toe assessment, just those little things. Make sure you know how to do vital signs. Math for pharmacology was basically math. It was when I started my second semester that things got really hard. Second semester you would start just pharmacology and med surg. For the first 8 weeks you would do med surg 1, and then the next 8 weeks you would do med surg 2. Well, oh yeah, and plus a clinical. So med surg 1, it was so different for me. It was really hard. I really struggled with those exams. Basic nursing had sort of introduced us into taking NCLEX style question type of test, but not that much. I know we were so used to getting points back, and our teacher was very lenient with us, but once we got into med surg, things changed. Things were a lot harder. We had the way I was studying before was not going to help me. And even before, now that I think back, I think I got a B probably in basic nursing, and a B plus in math for pharmacology. And I don't really remember trying that hard. But once I started med surg, it was so hard, and I passed the clinical, but I wasn't able to pass the class. So I was really upset because during that time I was going to school with my best friend, and she did pass. So I remember I'm like, well, fine, I'll take a year off, and I'll come back and take it again. So that's what I did, and I came back, and when I had to come back, I didn't have to take clinical since I had passed the clinical. So it was really breezy because I just finished pharmacology, which I honestly barely passed to. I think I passed with the C. It wasn't really good grades at all. And then med surg, I remember I finally passed it the first semester, but everything seemed so easy because I was just taking a few generals, and then I was just taking one nursing class. So and even then though, and it's now thinking back on it, it's so bad that I still only passed the class with the C. But then I got to start med surg 2, and during this time my friend had actually taken a year off. So if everything went as planned, I would have still been able to be with her, and we were gonna graduate together and blah blah blah. But I started med surg 2, and now clinicals even changed. It was supposed to be 2-day clinicals. They were going to be on the hospital, on the med surg floor. And honestly, it was like I was entering this chaotic world that I didn't even know of. I felt so behind. If everybody knew where everything was at the hospital, because they had been there the last semester. I hadn't taken clinical at the hospital yet. The first time that I took the clinical that I did pass, I was actually at the nursing home. But then this time everything at the hospital. I remember my first day of clinical was horrible. I burst out into tears basically, and I told my teacher that I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like traumatized. It was horrible. And I mean, my instructors were so nice. They let another student go in with me to finish my patient, and then they let me go home early that day. And I remember that I went home and I told my parents I didn't want to be a nurse anymore, that I didn't know what I had gotten myself into, and I was just done. And they convinced me to go back because I would have clinical the next day. And, you know, I just took it a day at a time. But in the end, I didn't pass the class. I mean, I passed the clinical again, but I didn't pass the class. So then I was back to square one. I spoke to my advisor. she told me, well, you know, it'd be another year off. And I told her, I just don't know what to do. I feel like I'm so behind. And I told her, just right now, let's just leave it at that. I don't know if I'm going to come back. And if I do, I don't even mind if I start all over, because I feel so behind. But I basically told him I would come back whenever I decided what I was going to do. And I remember feeling so defeated, like maybe this isn't for me. And I did think about that because, I mean, I had already spent so much time, so much money. Gladly, I did pass my generals during that time, so I was actually finished with all my nursing generals. And I decided that I was going to quit my job and just find another job. Like, maybe nursing wasn't for me. I remember during that time I was working at an assisted living facility, so I applied basically anywhere else that wouldn't have to do with nursing. So I remember the courthouse was hiring a bilingual interpreter, so I'm like, oh, I could go do that. I could have regular hours, you know, they're closed on holidays. So I applied there. I remember I applied at this factory plant that makes needles. I'm like, oh, I could do that. They might hear they make good money. I don't even remember how many places I applied to, and nobody was calling me. Like, I've never had such bad luck trying to get a job. And then a friend, I asked her if she knew any places that were hiring, and she actually is a CNA who works at a clinic, and has been working there probably a really long time. And she told me, well, this clinic and this clinic may be hiring. She's like, well, you know, my clinic's hiring too. I mean, and then she told me how they weren't done kind of interviewing, but that she would talk to her boss. So I said it was okay. I was kind of like undecided about it. Like, I mean, clinic would be again back to nursing, but the idea of having better hours, you know, clinic hours basically would have been Monday through Friday, you know, and as a CNA at a clinic, I mean, compared to a nursing home or whatever, it would have been, you know, great. And if I was going to get paid more, I was down for it. So I remember she told me how to fill out a resume, which I had never done. So then I did a resume and I dropped it off, and they actually called me right away. And I probably the same way how nobody was calling me, I received this call so fast. The interview was so fast, and basically them hiring me was super fast. And I'm pretty sure it was all in God's plan for them to do that, because I had applied to so many places and nobody called me, and then I applied here and it was like super quick. So, you know, I remember talking to my friend, how she told me, don't tell them you want to go back to school, because then they might not hire you because they need full time. And I was fine with that because I wasn't even sure myself if I wanted to go back to school. So, and that's actually where I'm currently employed at now, this clinic. And I was probably working there for about a year when my own boss asked me if I was planning on going back to nursing school. And then I kind of was playing with the idea, like, no, I don't really think so. I'm kind of comfortable here. You know, I'm getting paid good for a CNA job. I felt like it's a well-paid job. And then they're like, well, no, you should go back and we'll work with your schedule. So basically, they pushed me to go forward. And I'm sure my parents probably thanked them, because they definitely wanted me to go back to school. So I decided to go back again and talk to my advisor. During this time, she was actually going to retire, but she was still there to smooth things out for the new instructor. And she told me how they were changing the program. It was not going to be concept learning, and I would obviously have to start all over because well, I could actually continue in the old program, but it was going to be the last year, or I could wait and start the new program. Well, I decided, well, you know, it's been a long time since I've been in school, and I really feel like I need to start all over, because I'm not going to remember everything that I had learned back. It was probably like 3 years ago, you know, back in basic nursing. So then we agreed to, you know, that I'm just going to apply, and she told me when was the right time to apply, because to apply to the new program was completely different process than how I originally got into the old program. So I basically had that plan. I know I had to take the TEAS exam, which I never had to take originally. Originally, you could get in by your GPA, and if your GPA wasn't high enough, oh, sorry, not the GPA, your ACT test, which it's like the SAT in other places. And your ACT, if it was high enough, you got in. If it wasn't, you just took a compass test, in whatever classes you didn't do good, and if you got the decent amount of grade, you were able to get in too. And that's how I got in originally. But this time you had to get a take the TEAS exam. You had to get a certain level to pass. And once you had that in, you could, it was part of the application process, and you had to like do your immunizations, a background check. And I think that was it, if I remember. So I remember for the TEAS exam, I didn't really know what to expect. So I actually, the way I studied for it was the way that I tend to study, is basically practicing questions. So I paid for that program that ATI offers for the TEAS, and it wasn't a program, I guess. It was just like a practice test. And that's what I did. That's all I took. And then I took the TEAS exam, and I got a grade that was enough to get into the program. And basically, that's how I got in again. And this new program made me so nervous because right away in the first semester, we would be starting with MedSurg, which was the class that I had struggled with so much. But honestly, this program has been great. It's the first time around, so I know sometimes we feel like we're the guinea pigs. I know me and the other students probably do, because even me and we don't know what's going on, and the teachers don't always know what's going on, because it's a whole new program for them. They had to make new tests that go with this program. So sometimes, you know, it's a work in progress. We all, I know that our teachers meet on Monday, and they try to, you know, they try to like get the stuff ready for the week. And sometimes things change, so you have to be very flexible. But honestly, I feel like with this new program, either it's because I've grown a lot more and I know a lot more now, or, you know, the way this program is taught has really helped me. And I think it's both, honestly, in a way. And honestly, my studying habits have changed so much. Now that I look back, I really was not trying hard enough the semesters, my first time around in the program. And obviously, if I would have probably tried harder right away and tried to change things right away, or ask for help right away, maybe I could have passed the program the first time around, or even the second time around. But honestly, I mean, we got to learn from our mistakes sometimes. And with this new program, it was a lot harder, but honestly, my grades were so much better. I passed my classes. I had lifespan, pathoform, and nursing judgment. I passed my lifespan class with a B+, and also my pathoform exam with a B+. My nursing judgment, I got an A. Like, my grades were totally different. I remember talking to my friend and saying, honestly, this semester, I don't feel like I need to catch up. I don't feel like I'm barely gonna pass. Like, oh my gosh, is this test gonna either help me or bring me down? Like, I never had that feeling. And even on our ATI, we get to do ATI for each test. And I know the first semester we just did it for our lifespan class. And even with that, I ended up with a level 3. And honestly, when I first was taking the program round and I took ATI, there was times that I was always at either below a level 1 or a level 1. I really did not know the material. And now I feel like I am learning a lot better. This semester, second semester, is a lot harder. And I know I need to change my study habits because classes are just gonna keep getting harder. But, you know, we just gotta keep trying. So I hope you guys really like this video. It's just kind of to inspire you. I mean, if you've failed before in the program and you think this is really what's for you, don't give up. Continue, you know, and try to do better. You've been through it once, and just because you've been through it once, I mean, don't think like you already know this stuff. Act like if it's the first time you took it, and just study. If this is really your dream, then go for it, because it's honestly really worth it. We need caring and compassionate nurses. And, you know, you're just like me, just keep trying. And if it's not for you, it's okay. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your dreams. You don't always have to keep doing something because that's what everybody expects of you. But if it's something you really want to do, then go for it. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let failing stop you, because everything, I personally think that everything works according to God's plan. And if it's not his plan for me to pass back in 2015, maybe it's his plan for me to pass now. And honestly, now that I think about it, it probably is, because I've grown a lot in these last years. I've been through a lot. I've been through a breakup, been through so much stress. You know, I changed a job, and you know, and I felt like everything was just being set up for me to be here at this moment now and able to take this new program. So I really hope you guys like this video. If you want me to continue making some more, just let me know.